Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar, How to Ensure Your SAP Data Stays Safe While Collaborating. My name is Norv Leong, Senior Director of Product Marketing here at NextLabs, and I'm joined today by my colleague, John Cooper, who's a Senior Sales Engineer here at NextLabs. And together we'll be tag teaming today's webinar, so I just want to get a couple housekeeping items out of the way first. All the lines have been muted, but feel free to submit your questions via the Q&A box that you see on your screen. Because we've reserved some time at the tail end of the webinar to answer questions. Secondly, this webinar is being recorded, so we'll send you a link to the recording within a couple days in case you need to view something again. With that, I'm going to dive right on in. For those of you who are not familiar with NextLabs, this is just going to be a real quick backgrounder of who we are. Essentially, we help you protect your sensitive data. We were founded 15 years ago in Silicon Valley, but we've since expanded our offices to include locations in both Asia and Europe. Our customer list spans a number of industries, especially aerospace and defense, manufacturing, financial services, pharmaceuticals, among several others. So we've got a strong ecosystem of partners ranging from SAP, Siemens, and Microsoft to the large global systems integrators like Deloitte, Accenture, and Infosys. We've also partnered with organizations like NIST to help establish the standards for key data security technologies. So unless you've been living remotely in the deep Netherlands of Antarctica, you're deeply aware of the reality we've been living in the past several months. So the new normal that we're in, we're working from home, doing Zoom meetings, trying to stay as productive as possible in this new work environment. However, from a security standpoint, organizations must still be vigilant about protecting data, just as if the employee were working from the actual office. Thus, sensitive data like financial information, sales projections, social security numbers, and so forth should all be subject to the most stringent security requirements. This is even more important in scenarios where there are remote employees or working with partners is the norm. So on that front, let's talk about some common business problems in this new normal. First off, as I alluded to on the previous slide, data security is still going to be top of mind as we work remotely. You still need to adopt the necessary procedures and processes to protect your data and guard against data breaches. Fortunately, legacy solutions are ill-equipped to secure data in today's IT landscape. Secondly, many large organizations, they are globally distributed with employees spread out all over the world. They often collaborate on projects, sending documents back and forth to one another. Companies also collaborate with other companies on joint development projects. They share IP, changing data for a common goal. We can call this the extended enterprise, if you will. Similarly, many industries, they have complex supply chains. You could take electric cars as an example. There's lots of planning, designing, and manufacturing that has to happen before an electric car can roll off the assembly line. The engine, they might come from one manufacturer, the tires from another, and software, yet another vendor. So each of these suppliers, they need to collaborate with one another, but likely don't need access to every single document related to the production of the car. And finally, regulatory compliance is a mainstay of several industries, be it aerospace and defense, pharma, financial services. All these verticals, they tend to be highly regulated when it comes to data. Audit trails, they have to be maintained to demonstrate compliance with GDPR or HIPAA, for instance. And that brings us to SAP E-DRM. It's a digital rights management solution that enables the secure sharing of data no matter where that data sits or goes. It gives the same level of protection to SAP data to ensure that as data leaves the SAP application, it is continually protected. The NextLabs has integrated rights management into the application layer in order to make protection of SAP data automatic. So SAP customers can leverage their existing classifications to facilitate implementation. Protection happens immediately when the information is uploaded to or downloaded from the application, whether it's on premises or in the cloud. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton to John Cooper, and he's going to walk you through a demo of SAP E-DRM. So John, I'm going to turn screen over to you.
Thanks, Norv. Just check you can see the screen again.
Yep, I can see your screen.
Great, thank you, Norv. So I'll show you a demo now, and there's four main parts to this. The first part is to protect sensitive attachments within SAP. So that's uploading data to SAP. It's what we call data at rest. And the second point is to prevent unauthorized extractions of data from SAP. And that's what we call data on the move, when you can download files from SAP. And the third point is to show you the SAP E-DRM solution, how you can safely collaborate and share information with internal and external employees. And the last part, I'll show you some of the reporting and the cockpit that's available as part of the solution. So the first scenario is protecting attachments within SAP. So there are many places to upload attachments within SAP. And if these include sensitive data or IP, this could result in a loss of data or compliance breach if other people can't access that. So for example, a user opens an attachment that has sensitive GDPR data and they shouldn't be able to see that data. So with SAP E-DRM, we can allow users to natively protect and classify the documents on upload, and this can also be automated, but I'll show you the user-driven protect and classify. So the as-is world is, in the demo we'll look at transaction CVO to N, where you can change and add documents, we'll upload 2 documents. The documents will not be protected or classified, and other users can access those. With E-DRM, that's different. So you can still access the transaction, upload documents. You can also protect and classify the documents. And so let me show you the demo now. Okay, this is our demo system. It's an S4 system. I'll go to the transaction CVO2N. I'll pick a document, and here I will upload 2 documents. Okay. So I'm going to upload this one, test 1, protect, and test 2, classify. Okay, they're the 2 documents, and I'll just check those both in. They'll be checked into the DMS server, and I'll just save that. Great. Now, one of the documents, I uploaded 2 documents there. One of the documents was, just what you've got to type here, it's classify. That was the test02 classify. If I just open that document, in fact, I can open it in the SAP systems, either place. If I open the document, I just want to show you that there's no classification attached to this document, as is. So here is where this is a Microsoft document, is where you'd hold a classification. Okay, and that's blank. So I'll go back into here now. Okay, so this one is also, you'll notice it's a Word document. They're both Word document. The document extension is docx for a Word document. So now if I just select the document and right click, there's 2 additional options now because we've got SAP E-DRM installed, and one of them is classify, one's protect. So I'll just click on the protect and we get a message to say that that was successful. I'll go back in now, and you can see that the document has been protected by NextLabs. You know that because it's got a .nxl for NextLabs extension at the end of the document. I can open that. Other users who haven't got access wouldn't be able to access that document. So if I just display, okay, here's a document. This is the Word document, test01, and you can see there's sensitive information in there. I've got edit facilities, I can edit, and then what it'll do is open in the native Word application as well, and I could edit that if I want. So you can see there's sensitive data on this. And the second thing I want to show you here is, you also notice there's another option which is classify. So if I right click this, I can now classify this document. I'll go back in, and here, so now if I select this document and I open it and view this, so I'll display, And I'll check the properties of this now. You'll see that it's now been classified. So this is our demo system. We've set it to be star, and this is the export control security classification. But it can be flexible on the document type, uses many different variables. And the last thing here is, as well as being able to attach documents here, and a lot of transactions in SAP, got the option to attach here. So I could create an attachment, GOS, generic object service, okay. And if I view the attachment list, again, if I right click on here, I've got the options to classify and protect as well. And that is, it's not that we have to run through a tool or there's a third party app we've got to run or process this through. It's embedded to this end user. It's quite seamless, the use of that, okay. So that's the first one. So you can see it's protected data within SAP. It's native to SAP itself. It can be automated. That was a manual driven. It can be automated based on document types, users, etc., environmental attributes as well. And the benefit is that a reduced loss of IP or prevent compliance breaches. Okay. So the next example is prevent unauthorized extractions of data. So traditional access control is siloed as protection exists within the application. And by that I mean when data leaves SAP, the control is no longer persists with the document. So a HR business partner could download some sensitive SAP data, salary information or address information, and that could go on a public shared drive, and then other people could accidentally access that document and the information, which would be a breach. So with EDRM, we can also consider contextual and fine-grained access control. So by this we mean we can look at the type of data being accessed and also the action, the download action in this case. So in the example above, as a person tries to download, we apply rights and protect the data. So as is world, people can access a transaction. In this case, it's SE16 in the demo, can view all the tables, download data, can access any downloads. Okay, but with the EDRM, it's quite different. You can still access the same transaction. You can view the tables, but as you download, rights are applied, and we check the user, the document itself, and the location attributes. And based on that, only specific data can be opened. So let me show you this now. So I go to SE16N. As you know, it's a very contentious transaction. Just one sec. The data where we've got rights is customer data is access all of the data. Material we can view only, and sales data we've got no access to that after it's been downloaded. Okay. So if I go to SE16N, which I'm in, I'll look at a customer table, KNA1. I'll just reduce this to results. Probably know that KNA1 is a key customer table in SAP. And then there's an option to download this now as a spreadsheet. So here, I could save this to many places. I'll save it to my desktop and I'll call it export demo. Okay, so the documents come down. So if I go now to my look at this file. So look at my desktop, sort by date. Here, you can see that first of all, there's a NXL NextLabs. It's a class as an NXL NextLabs extension type. And you can also see a visual marking. There's an NXL there. If I right-click as well, you'll see that there's a SkyDRM icon. And if I look at the properties of this file, it'll tell me what access I have. So this was customer data. That was transaction I used. You can see that I've got view, edit. I've got full permissions to this print, extract. I can reshare, save as. So I can do a lot of things with this. So I'll just double click to open the document. And here you can notice I've got edit, I've got print mode as well. So I could go to edit, and it'll open in Excel as well. I could edit that document. Okay, that's the first one. Now if I look at a material table, Mara is a key material table. Again, I'll just see what data we have here. And I'll download this. Again, as a spreadsheet. I'll save to my desktop again. Mara demo. And also, while I'm here, I'm going to download a sales table. I'll download 2 sales tables. I want to show you something as well. So again, the VBAC is a sales order header table. Tells you like order type, who created the order, date, time, etc. Okay, save this as a spreadsheet. And one of them, I'll also download another sales table, but the item level VBAP table. This includes all the detail like the materials, quantities, pricing, all those kind of things. Again, desktop, same place. Call it VBAP. Okay, that's all the downloads I need. So we'll look at these now. I'll just refresh. You can see that was the first one, the customer table, the Mara table. Again, if I right click now, notice these are NextLabs protected. The Mara and the VBAC, the header. I'll click on the properties just to view. Okay, so this is different. The previous document, which was a customer table, I got all access to that. This one is just view only. So you can see it's just view permissions, close that. And if I open the document, there's no option here to edit or print this or reshare. And with this one, it should be a deny, which is the sales header table. So if I just double click that, access is denied. I can't open that file, although I could view it and download. And the final point is I also downloaded another table, which was the item level. With this one, there's been no NextLabs protection applied to it. It's just a standard SAP Excel file. You can see that. It's just a traditional icon there. If I open it, you see I've got full access to this document. And the point there is you don't have to protect all your data within SAP. It's the sensitive data you want to protect. You know, you protect the crown jewels at 20%, 10% of the data, which causes all your problems around compliance breaches, risk, intellectual property. So it doesn't have to apply to all your data. Okay. Okay. So the next scenario is what we call data loss prevention, which is similar to the previous, but SAP, traditional roles are coarse-grained, and by that we mean when you access the transaction reports, you can see all the data and you are trusted. But there's some cases where you don't want people to download the data or have certain access you want to revoke. So with SAP E-DRM, we can offer contextual authorization and fine-grained access control. So you could apply separate and different permissions to people based on their location, the user itself, or also the data itself. And in this example, we've got a financial controller that can download reports, in a month end, and accounts payable clerk cannot. We've also got how we can show you can access the data and view it, but you can't download. So as is, you can view all the data, you can download, no protection or controls applied. But with the E-DRM, it's quite different. You've got you can again view all the data, controls are applied to downloads, and the protection and controls are applied. So the first scenario is this user can look at the sales data, shipping data, and customer data, different transactions in SAP. They can view, they can't download, but they can download the material documents from a report. I'll just show you this now. Okay, so I've got a sales information. I've got a VAO file, which is quite a commonly run report in sales. And I can just right click. I'll call that download one, export one, my desktop. And you can see a message appears to say file download is denied. Does not have access to, it should say download the file. So I cannot download that, I can view only. Okay. And I'll look at a shipping report. I'll just select my variant. Again, I'll download this another way. I want to show you different options here how you can download. So download as a local file. Again, I'm denied access to that. I'll look at SE16N and I'll try and look at a customer table. Okay, I'll download this. I'll try to download it. And again, there's a deny message. But this user has got access to view and download the material report. So I've got a material one here, MM50. And I'll just try another way to download. There's many exit points within SAP, and we do protect them all. System list. There we go. Download. Okay. And now if I look at my file, desktop, see there's a document, MM50 document. Okay. I've got access to download that one and view that file. Okay, so that's the DLP, and there's also another scenario here. This is user finance accounts payable clerk. Yeah, I'll just show you auths. Finance accounts payable. User has SAP All, and there's another user I've logged in as, which is the financial controller, finance CO. And he's got SAP All. So everything that's happening here is controlled by NextLabs policies. So the controller is here. And if I go to this transaction to look at GL account balances, and I'll just run it for a particular GL, so it runs quite quickly. And download. Okay. Financial controller. Come out. Okay, you can see that. He's got access to view the file and download. If I logged in as the accounts payable person and go to the same transaction and I run it for the same GL, simulating a month-end process here. I'm going to try and download it as a accounts payable demo. See that he's blocked. So you can see there that we've allowed the financial controller, because in this case it's a month end, it could be quarter end, to download that information. We don't want other users to download that. We can view it, it can work, they can transact as normal. They denied that last action of downloading the data. And then we talked about also, you've seen there was a thing called SAP E-DRM. So with globalization and collaboration, it means we now have to share data across extended enterprise internally and externally with partners. And application security is siloed. So by that we mean, as I've shown, when it leaves traditionally the application, then the protection stops and it no longer persists with the document. But with SAP E-DRM, it allows us to share files and apply protection, and we can also monitor the access to those documents. So as is world is, data can be shared with note you can download, and then you can share this data with people, and there's no downstream out visibility, and you cannot revoke access or see what people are doing with this. It's all based on trust. With EDRM, you can share a document through SAP ERP. You can see what people are doing with that, the visibility. You can also put like a time limit on there, and you can also revoke the access. Okay, we access this from Chrome. So I'll log in as John T. Okay, and I go to my space. This is like a landing page. I go to my space. I'll not show you all of this functionality because we're getting short on time now. And I'll go to share, and you can share. You can link drives to things like Google Drives and different collaboration sites. I'll select from my local files. I'll look for a file called SAP ERP. SAP ERP 1. Okay, proceed. And now I can say what rights do I want to apply to this document. So I want just view only for this. I'll also put a watermark on there. You'll see that. And I'll also put a validity on there. It says never expire, but I'll put an absolute date of that 31 days time. It will expire. And then I'll put the recipient's details in. Okay, and then I'll accept that. It just confirms what I've said. View, watermark, validity period, okay. And I'll share another document again from my desktop. And I'll select this one, SAP ERP 100, different file. And what I'll do is I'll give full rights to this, to print, to reshare, save as edit, no watermark, no validity. And again, I'm going to send this to J. Cooper. Okay. And then if I click on shared files, shared by me, you can see that here, that's 1 minute ago. That's the first one, the SAP ERP 1. SAP ERP 100 is the Deloitte file. If I just click on this, I can look at the logs, and I'll see that you'll see that I've protected it and shared it, John T. I'll log out now as the SAP ERP solution, and I'll log in as the recipient, J. Cooper. Okay, go to my space. Shared with me. Okay, here we go. 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago, a moment ago. That's the first one. So I just click on this. It tells me that John T shared it with me. And there you go. You can see that's a document that's SAP ERP 1. It's got the watermarks. It's my name and address. You can customize that. It gives a date and time. And here I can't print, I can't reshare. Those icons have been deactivated because it was just a view-only document. Okay. And the second document, this one, SCADIM 100, I open that document now. You'll see here, it tells me that I can share the file. I've got full rights to this. I can print, so let's click on the print icon. I'll not do that, I'll sort of make a lot of noise. I can share this. I'm going to share this back to John T. Guy sent it me. With full rights, okay, good. And shared by me. Now I'll see that file's just gone out. That's the one I've just shared with John T. So I'll log out and back in as the original person, John T. I'll go to the shared files by me first. I want to just show you something now. This is the document, the second document sent when we had the full access to the document. Now if I look at the logs, you'll see that it shows the interaction, shows that I originally shared and protected and shared, and then Jay Cooper viewed the document, printed it, and it did a reshare. So you can see all that activity, which is pretty impressive. And if I don't like what he's doing, then I can just click on this button here, manage, and I'll say, okay, I want to revoke rights to that document. He no longer has access to this document. And shared with me, this is the document that Jay Cooper sent back to me a moment ago. Okay, so that was very briefly SAP ERP. And lastly, I just want to show you one thing, which is the reporting. So every time, all these things are controlled by a NextLabs policy. And every time a policy is triggered, logs are kept about the user, the date, the documents. I think this will timed out. I'll log in again. So. Okay. So there's three parts. First of all, we're getting like a KPI visualization of what's been happening, the top KPI. So this is top 10 denied policies in the last 30 days. And if you hover over, it gives you details of which policy has been triggered. So that's denied download of DLP scenario. This is an Apple demo we're doing. So there's different, it just gives you information. Top 10 denied users, again, you hover over, tells you which users, that's G Washington. Okay, that's the finance AP guy we looked at. And also top 5 deny, allow resources. And if I hover over that, you can see it tells you the system, SAP system, it's an ED6, client 100, the transaction was CVO2N. Because this can connect to many different applications. And also there's a histogram over time. And there's some reports I can run. I could say for a certain date period. I could say by users, by resource type, policies. There's lots of different attributes I can use, but I'll just run this. And what you can see here is it shows you the logs. So it gives you the result if it's an allow or deny. This one denies. It tells you the policy description, which system it was. And if I click on that, I can get further details. So it's the user was the finance AP user. We were logged in as a moment ago in SAP. That's the system details. It's a deny. And also, if there's any relevant attributes, you can see that. You can also download and export these. And you can also have an API to export them to like a CM type solution for a deeper analysis. And finally, we've got monitoring as well. You can set monitors up. So when you've got thousands of users and products and information you need to protect, you can set certain alerts. So this is an alert I set up. And it's just to say that if anyone downloads document over 5 times in 24 hours, then send me an alert. And it can be, many things. It could be policies have been triggered, users have performed certain actions, uploads, downloads, view. So it's very flexible on how those are set up. So back to the slide. That was the SAP ERM, and also there were the visualizations and the reports that we just looked at. So then we've got time for questions. Norv, if anyone has got any questions now.
Yeah, I mean, we could just take a moment and let you guys submit your questions if you haven't already via the Q&A box that should be on your screen. Give you a moment to do that. But John, there were a couple that came in over the last 20 minutes, and we can just tackle those first while other people can chime in. Somebody was asking, does this solution also support S4 HANA? It seems like you've been talking about ECC up to this point.
Okay, yeah, good question. We do support ECC and S4 HANA. We have plugins for them both. So yeah, absolutely. And yeah.
And then, you know, what kinds of file types are supported? I mean, like Excel, Word, and what other files types?
Yeah, those in the demo was the Word documents we were looking at mostly. It's pretty much any file type. So if I wanted to share a picture in the SAP ERM or a text file, or you wanted to protect certain, if it's a text file which has been downloaded, which shows part of the demo, pretty much any file type is protected, or rights can be applied to any file type. It's not just Microsoft. People often ask, is it just Microsoft? It's not. It's any, pretty much.
Okay.
We also do a lot of. We also do a lot of work with supply chains, and one of our plugins is for PLM solutions, so we can protect things like CAD drawings and things. So it's very flexible on what type of documents you do protect. Okay.
Okay, and it looks like there's just one other question. They just want to know, is this an on-prem or a cloud solution that you just walked us through?
Okay, that in the demo is a cloud solution, but we offer both. It can be on-prem or cloud. I know people are moving to the cloud, hesitancy or some requirements where they still want to be on-prem, so we offer both actually.
Okay, well, it looks like there are no further questions. So I mentioned at the start of the webinar that it was being recorded, so we'll be sending you guys a link to the recording. In case you didn't catch something the first time, you can replay the recording at your convenience. And should you have any additional questions or need further clarification on anything, just feel free to shoot us a note, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So thanks again for joining us today, and be well and stay safe, everybody.